aging is hell.
Get yourself a vibrator if you need it. Know how to pleasure yourself. That's life, right?
Sometimes I shock myself when I think, oh my gosh, am I 70?
I believe I can do anything. I can still do the splits,
Ooh.
right?
The younger ones really need our wisdom.
Welcome to my new show. I am Felicia Mabuza-Suttle. And guess what? Once in media, always in media. I'm here in Mallorca, Spain. We are recording our first episode of Conversations with Women Over 60. I mean, I'm looking at you, I'm saying, I'm here with 5 diverse women from Mallorca that I have never met before. But what amazing stories they have to share with you. We are going to be bold, brave, blunt, and tell the truth about maturing. You heard me. I said maturing. I didn't say aging. I hate the word aging so much. I'm not sure why I'm sitting at this table because I really believe I'm 30. I really believe I'm 30. I told you I use my oil of delay, so it keeps me going. Tell us about your career, where you started. I mean, I was reading your bio, and my gosh, you're a model as well.
I was. When I was quite young, when I was in my 20s, I was living in Paris, going to school at Sorbonne, and got scouted and was a runway model for about a year and a half, and then came back to the States.
I saw you do that walk to makeup. I was like, you walk it, girl.
Thank you. And then somehow I got drafted I went to law school for a year and I hated it. Then I got drafted into politics, and then somehow politics led to music, and then I ended up having a talent agency, and I did that for 25 years, and I loved it.
And then you did your heart job.
And then I did my heart job. I quit the talent agency, and I got a job with Special Olympics in Southern California as their development director, which was really an amazing, amazing change, and something that to this day, I've never regretted doing.
Loved it. And got married at 53.
I did.
Okay, we're going to talk about that when we talk relationships, because you and Cher.
I know, right?
And now, Heather, got your degree at 66, your master's degree, but tell us.
Yeah, no, I did a degree in Spanish, but many years ago. And that's when I retired. I was persuaded, because I didn't really know what to do with my life after retiring, to do a master's in creative writing. So I went to England for a year, and I lived like a student in digs, as if I was 19 years old. And it was a huge challenge, but I'm so glad I did this. And I learned an awful lot, and it made me realize that you can have projects even when you get older. So out of that I published a book of poems a couple of years later, and I got really into writing. So now I'm also about to publish another short story, a collection of short stories.
I'd love to get a book.
Thank you. And that was one of the best experiences of my life. It was my mother and my cousin who pushed me to do this. I spent a whole year in Oxford in living in this tiny little room, and I was the oldest one, obviously, doing the masters. But I'm just so pleased that I did it, even though I suffered many times and wished, God, am I really up for doing this? But in the end, you do it.
So in short, you're saying that age should not limit you.
No, not at all. And I think it's good to have a project. So when you wake up in the morning, you think, I've got that to do.
Jump out of bed.
I've got something interesting to do for me, at least. And maybe that can then interest somebody else later on,
And you, Marie?
Well, my life is very different from Heather's, because I left Ireland as a very young girl, and my plan was to travel the world and get lots of experience. But unfortunately or fortunately, my first stop was Mallorca. And so I met my husband, and lived as a mother really for many, many years. A very difficult marriage, which eventually ended when he decided to leave this planet and go off somewhere else. So for me, like, the change was becoming a free woman, really, once I was widowed. And ever since that, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. And really what I'm involved in many, many things, but probably the most important thing is I'm president of an association. We visit palliative care patients. Wow. And, it's actually very, very beautiful. When I started on this project, I thought, that I was going to be given something. But in fact, what I got was the most amazing lessons from lots and lots of people. And it's really sort of put me in touch with life and enjoyment and joy. And so I'm now 72 and like really enjoying my life.
Girl, you tell me a woman's age is like a man's income. You don't talk about it.
Well, 72.
But I wouldn't tell you that story. It's quite a funny one. Yeah. And then Sydney. Girl, the 80s you were.
I think that this is wonderful. I've been wanting to talk, being female and talk about age. I've been wanting to do that for so long. And I hide the fact that November the 10th, I'll be 62. And I've hidden, being a singer-songwriter and performer, you have to kind of hide it. If the ageism has affected many people. I've had opportunities when people will be like, "Oh my God, you're amazing! Oh yeah, let's do this," and then they find out, So I'll tell them, and then the situation will change. So I really think, in my heart, it's like you were saying about if a man is a silver fox, I deserve, to have that same feeling, So anyway, so I'm just really happy to be here I'm an artist. I do not have children. So the world's children are my children. Oh, and I care a lot about young people. And since the pandemic, I teach voice and dance, because there's stuff I love to do, but I love to bring out I call it Soul Joy, is my company, Soul Joy for that, is to bring out people's ability to express themselves and not listen to, I think all human beings are artists, we're all artists, right? It's about like getting older, is about listening to yourself and the freedom of that and the confidence of that, of like, you know what, I'm going to stop listening to others. I'm gonna, for me, as I'm getting older, is to really keep improving, but like to ask myself, face my weaknesses, and celebrate every year that this body has held me and done stuff for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I deserve to give it some respect. So I'm really happy to be here, and
I'm
this
looking forward
really
to
conversation.
Talking more about all of that. Mm-hmm. And Beverly, you want to?
Well, I really don't know where to start, because my life has been like up and down, up and down, up and down. So I have been living in Mallorca now. It'll be 60 years next month, in November. 60
Wow.
Next month. And I've done so much. I lived through the Franco times. I was the first woman to ride a motorbike in Mallorca wearing trousers. And that's when the women used to ride side saddle with their skirts holding on to their man. And then I became a women's champion racing cars in Mallorca and Catalonia. Then I went on to creating an empire with my ex-husband. And we created an empire, but then I wasn't happy. And I walked out and left everything behind.
Wow.
Empty hands. I walked away with my daughter and my cat and my dog, and started up a new life, became a therapist. And from being a therapist, I went forward to becoming a health educator. I trained at the #1 health medicinal spa in the world in the United States. and began to lead the raw food movement in Spain, and been doing that now for 23 years. I opened up a wellness center here in Mallorca, very famous wellness center, and left that behind to continue with my raw food. And I opened up a restaurant. It was the only vegan and raw certified organic restaurant
Like
in Mallorca.
raw
All
food?
raw food,
Oh,
yeah.
Lord. You
Yeah,
have to-
and with certification for organic food, and I was making medicinal food.
I'd love us to talk about that later on, because
Okay.
we're going to talk about fears and phobias,
Okay.
etc.
What you're saying about the 29, I think that's really interesting
But
because
somebody flipped it one day and said 92. That's why I've moved to 30, because my friend.
I actually believe, because I don't care if I'm crazy, I believe in that we are vibration, how the conversation I have with myself
Yeah.
is really important. So when I was 29, I remember I had a lot of other problems. I used to suffer from depression, etc. And at 29, all my friends were like, oh my God, I'm getting older. Oh yeah, my back hurts. And I was like, I was a dancer at the time. I was like, is my back hurting? No. If it was hurting, that's fine. So basically what I said to myself was, every birthday, I'm going to decide as a gift to myself, a conversation with myself only, how old I want to feel for that year.
Yeah.
And I always made it like 20 years younger for some reason. I've been doing that since I was 29 going to 30. I was like, okay, just to myself, okay, so...
And that's the result.
Exactly.
I really, that's what I mean, obviously, you're talking about, yes, we take care of ourselves. Like I move a lot, I dance, I do all the things that give me joy to move my body. And I think about things that obviously that I have to do because my body is getting older. Childlike joy, you know what I mean? Like I tell myself I'm 20 years younger. So this year I'm going to be 42.
When you're joyful, that's absolutely amazing, because if there's joy in your life, you just feel young and happy and singing and dancing and moving.
So
and
what's the age that you feel you should have been stuck at?
I mean, I can feel all sorts of different ages all in the one day. Like there's a moment I feel I'm in my 30s, and then perhaps something happens and I feel, oh, right, about more than 72, you know. Just depends on the moment, doesn't it? You know.
I think it's, sometimes I shock myself when I think, oh my gosh, am I 70? And it doesn't feel like I've aged mentally in years. You know, I really feel like I did 25 years ago, except for the aches and pains.
Oh, tell me I was waking up, I was like, ooh, ow. So what's the best part? What's the best
The
part?
best part. Well, for me, it's kind of lightening up. It's like pieces are falling away, like you're losing baggage, I think, as you get older, because you've
I'm
ex-
gaining it.
No,
I'm gaining
I think
baggage.
I'm lightening up because you're accepting things, and maybe things don't affect you in the same way as they did before. So for me, it's lightening up as I've got into my 70s, especially. So and I'm not, giving so much importance to certain things anymore. I'm not worrying so much about certain things, which I know I cannot change at all.
Why am I worrying more?
I'm worrying more.
I'm worrying more.
More.
You too? I'm worrying more with age.
Do you know why? Why?
My granddaughter even says to me, Nana, stop it. She calls me Nana instead of Glamour. Oh, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that.
I just find life so exciting at the moment. It's like every day is so exciting. It's what's going to happen next. And I've started singing. I didn't know I had a voice. And all of a sudden I'm going for singing lessons. And, there's so much to do and so much to learn. Sometimes I think there's not enough time in a lifetime to be able to learn all the things that we can still learn and teach our young ones. And I think life is just beautiful. And we've got to a stage, I think, that we can teach so much as well, to the younger generation, especially with what's going on in the world at the moment. I think that the younger ones really need our wisdom. We need to be able to educate them and look up to grandma, you know, and know that there's knowledge there that we can show them that that they just don't have at the moment, because all they do is they've got their mobiles and that's all they do, you know.
But what's the worst thing
About aging.
about aging?
For me, it's like the physical decline.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and you know it's not going to get any better. Obviously, it's going to gradually get worse.
I think that's why my daughter said, you need to get back to gym.
Yeah, it's the physical decline, you know, was something that you have to accept, but it's there. But it's something you don't like, obviously, and your mind would do 100 things that your body cannot do anymore.
Yeah.
And that is a fact. We're all aging, and there's no miracle here that's going to stop us aging. We're all going to die one day. Yeah. So, you know.
Well, we're going to talk about the fears and phobias
Yeah.
when we come back. In fact, I'm wearing the wrong glasses here. Let me wear the right glasses. I was wondering, why can I not see properly? I tell you, aging is hell. I don't care what you say. Let's talk about the invisible syndrome. Why is it a man's world? And why are we invisible? Why are we allowing ourselves to be invisible?
That part, why are we allowing ourselves to be visible? Because I like to talk about data. So we're equal, right? You know, there are men and there are women, but the world has been a certain way. Doesn't mean to say it always has to be that way. And this is why I love young people, because they don't think like that. You know, so...
In fact, my friends are all younger than me, much younger. They're in their 50s and 40s. And I try to aspire to be like them, except that I just still cannot get into an SUV. I struggle.
But you can't. This is how I feel about that, about getting older. It's like, if I can't get into an SUV, then I would say to myself, okay, I need to do some exercises for this month, and I'm going to figure out what is it that I need to do so that my body can do whatever it wants to do. If I'm listening to my body and I'm in a conversation with myself, right, then I believe I can do anything. I can still do the splits.
Ooh,
right?
Wow.
Because I don't say to myself, I don't get me wrong, I don't kid myself. I'm not one of those people like, yeah, I'm 18. You know, I've made that mistake of going into a dance class and thinking I can do not stretch first, not listen to those lessons. Now I've learned those lessons. My body's older, so when I go into whatever physical exercise, I need to stretch. You know, we're muscles. You know, when we're eating, we have a colon. What am I putting in that's going through my body?
Raw food.
So, for me, I believe that women, we can do whatever we want to do if we decide. Any human being can, but I think for women right now, I feel so passionate about us getting the message now. Even with the world about war, I've always talked about war. Men, sit down. All the men sit down.
And let's
take women now. Let us sit at the table and try and figure out
That's
a way.
what Obama
have a different
said.
energy.
If the world was ruled by women, it would be a better place. And we do get it done. But let me hear more. Let me hear more about the invisible syndrome. How do you feel about it, and how can we eradicate it? I mean, you were talking about we're moving things to a new generation, and that is important.
Yeah, well, we do have a new generation, but I really do think that we need to be able to communicate with our younger ones and educate them.
But they think we're old. We're telling them old stuff.
No, but my granddaughter really listens to me. And please tell me more, Grandma, you know? And she wants to know more. And we just had a wonderful experience with her because she's 12 and she just came into womanhood. She just had a period. And we had a most beautiful ceremony for us because in our days, we weren't even allowed to talk about it. So this was a very, very beautiful ceremony where we brought her into womanhood and celebrated it, you know, and she brought along her young friends as well. Some of them already were the same age as her and into womanhood. But this was a beautiful one. So it was just very, very natural and to tell her all about the facts of life and beautiful ceremony and singing and dancing. And So we have so much to tell our younger ones, and they just listen. Or my granddaughter just listens, and her friends just listen to the things how things were used to be.
My granddaughter is teaching me how to do different dances.
Yeah, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
We dance together.
I'm trying to keep up. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because she can move those hips.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's our fun time together.
That's great.
Anyone else just quickly want to talk about? Yeah, you have three girls.
Thinking about young girls, I do think that this present generation we had it hard, but I think they have it hard too, because of mobile phones, because of all of this. They want to, like, we lived in a generation we accepted. If we weren't perfect, we sort of just accepted it and said, right, well, we'll do our best, know what we've got. But the present generation, they can't, and because you can change your image on a screen, I think it's so bad for young people to not learn, and that's what they can learn from our generation, what we can teach them. But the reality is they don't have a lot of time. I mean, I have a 10-year-old granddaughter, I'm just one, and, we're very close. But I can see the world she's coming into, that has nothing to do with the world I came into at her age.
Yeah, it's no longer kinder and gentler.
It's just totally, it's a different world. And I think in a way that they have to listen to us, but we also have to listen to them.
Yeah. Anyone else wants to add something?
Just adding to what Mary was saying, that the dangers of the social media, because so many girls now, and it seems like a step backwards in women's emancipation, they kind of want to make themselves look like sexual objects, and there's more abuse now, in the younger generation. I think it's because it's such a contradiction between what, the progress, and then it's like a step backward, because they're making themselves like sexual objects, the way they dress, and they just focusing on their image all the time. And I think that is a warning that we can give them as older women.
Well, let's talk about something else that concerns me. Fears and phobias. I don't know what is happening as I get older. I've become the worst germaphobe you can ever think of. I was at the restaurant today and I'm busy washing the fork and knife in the glass. My daughter said to me last night, wait a minute, you order a whole bottle of water. Because I was asking for water with ice. They said, no, you cannot drink water here from the tap. I just wanted to wash my utensils before I eat. And this was even before COVID. Post-COVID, it's even worse. When I walk into a hotel room, I literally clean up the handles, the TV remote. It's really getting bad. Anyone finding that happening?
Well,
I would just like to say, what you said before, what you think you create. So it's very, very important to have a positive outlook onto everything that we do. And so if you think there's going to be fear out there, or there's going to be an accident, it's going to happen. So we just need to change our mindset on knowing that, we can create whatever we want in life just by changing the thoughts.
That's a good one for me, Lord
Yeah.
Jesus, because I can think of the worst things happening half the time. I told you there's going to be a therapy session for me instead.
Well, there are certain things I think are warranted, phobias as you get older. I, for one, have had cancer. So when, I try not to dwell on it, because it's like, okay, it's been cut out, it's gone, and I should be fine. But there's always that nagging thing at the back of my head, like, every time I get an ache or a pain, or like a mosquito bite and it feels like a lump or something, I freak out. So, and it should be better because I'm well, but it's always there. So that's a phobia. I think that's, boy, and it's terrible for me, And I think but it's a warranted phobia. And then I see older people on the street and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to wear those shoes. I can't wear those shoes. I can't wear that jacket. How am I going to dress when I'm 85. Who's going to dress me, for God's sake? You know, that's kind of thing that I
That's
worry
one
about.
of
It's
my
really
fears
terrible.
as well.
I mean,
Do you think that's age? Because my sister's just gone through that as well, and we have this thinking about what I'm thinking, saying, and doing. You know, what I focus on grows. And when it comes to fears and phobias, I personally, my opinion is, fears and phobias, kids can have them, older, but I don't really. But in terms of what you're saying, I think that as we get older and we start to have to deal with aging and sickness, and yeah, we're human, so it's normal. Like my sister now, she's had hers cut out of her breast and now has to make different decisions.
Right.
But with illnesses, again, they've done studies where people, how they approach their illnesses with thought has an effect on their health. And so
Absolutely.
luckily, but it's really intense, you know, when you go through something like that, you know, it's human to think, oh my God, I think that this is normal, no?
Absolutely. But you know what's, once you realize that everything is a process, and you know, whether it's breast cancer or anything else, it's a process, and you have to go from step A, B, C, D. But yet, you know, you can't get away from it. You know, and October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I mean,
So you remember it even
oh
more.
my God. I mean, like, you know, pink this, pink that. And I love pink.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it makes you just a little bit, it's like, okay, can we just get away from this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I need everyone else to not remind me.
In fact, this brings me to another topic, which is depression. Oh, I don't know if it's because I'm sitting in a place that we've lived in for over 30 years. I feel I need change, but I'm finding myself a little down half the time. I don't know if it's because my girls are far away.
That's a problem.
Yeah. No, I think that if we're all perfectly honest, we all feel fear, each and every one of us, and we're all depressed sometimes. And really my secret anyway is to sort of, if one day I feel depressed, because obviously, well, things happen,
Yeah.
you know, stuff happens, it does happen, just let yourself be depressed that day. I mean, I think we spend more time trying not to be depressed than actually being depressed and then actually getting over it.
But then you find yourself crying all the time.
But how did you treat your children when they were depressed? So in other words, I always think of treating myself like I would I'm not, like I say, I'm not a mother, but treating those parts of me like a child, like you were saying, like if I've suffered from depression. So it's unconditional love for self. And I think as I get older, I give myself permission to be able to take care of myself. In that we're human, like you said, we all have these feelings. But we're incredible beings, especially women, because we're talking about women here. We are really incredible, and we have the solutions. I bet if you think back on your life, you found a solution to everything, right?
Yep. But Heather, you're too quiet. Let's talk.
But well, no, it was going back to what I said before. I think it's having a plan or a project which you can feel passionate about. And I think that gets us out of ourselves, you know. And I think we all have our talents or gifts that we can give out to the world. And if you have your special gift or your talent where you can develop it in some kind of project, and I think that is the best way of not thinking about our fears and our depressions. And
as you say, your project, I always say to people, and I don't practice it, I always say, find your purpose, pursue it with passion, and prosperity will follow. And by prosperity, I don't necessarily mean money. It is the joy of living, etc. And I'm in a place where I'm even having difficulty pursuing my purpose. I mean, my husband's, he's a friend of my husband, and they wrote books together. He's a psychiatrist. He said, what you have done is more than most people do in a lifetime. I still have so much energy, and there's so much still to be done that I would enjoy. Children are my favorite project. But I was going to do something with kids, a show with kids, but Lindy said, Mom, let's do with older women. You have no idea how much wisdom we need. Zani said, now, let's get it going. And here we are today. And I'm finding maybe this is really my new purpose, encouraging women to speak out and talk about the rut some of them are in, depression. And now let us say, after the break, we're going to be talking about dating and that sex drive.